Okay, guys, anybody that knows anybody that's involved with NDIS knows that they're lacing their pockets.
Mate, just finally here, Simon, Bill Shorten, he's going to be our representative and heading to Ukraine to show support for Ukraine and continuing a push against Russia. What do you think about that pick?
Well, I don't doubt for a second Bill Shorten's commitment and support for Ukraine, but he's the Minister for the National Disability Insurance System. Where on earth are any of the members of the National Security Committee of Cabinet? It should be an NSC member going to represent Australia at the Ukraine Peace Summit, not the NDIS Minister. Bill Shorten, no doubt, will have a great speech when he gets there from his $600,000 speechwriter. But why isn't it a security or defence minister or a foreign minister rather than the NDIS minister? It just speaks to the chaos and dysfunction that seems to be pervading the Albanese government. An immigration minister who's dreaming of drones or UFOs in the sky, and the NDIS minister off to a war and peace summit. It doesn't make any sense.
All right. I was going to ask you about that fee, but I'm out of.
Today we learned that NDIS Minister Bill Shorten will be representing Australia at a Ukraine peace summit in Switzerland. And we also learned today that some people on the NDIS have been spending $10,000 on taxpayer-funded holidays. Now, I'm not suggesting for a moment that the two are related, but I am confused as to why the Minister for Disabilities is flying off to Europe to talk about the war with Russia. Shorten says he will use his appearance at the global summit to warn that Russian President Vladimir Putin can't be allowed to triumph in Ukraine, as it would embolden autocrats around the world. Well, for the $620,000 we learned yesterday that Bill Shorten was paying his speechwriter, I expect his summit address may well end the war.
If you're trying to link me to that, good luck. The point about it is the person involved who's the speechwriter does a very good job. I'm not responsible for negotiating a contract.
Shorten may not be the defence minister, but he's certainly the defensive minister. If only he could make a speech to NDIS rorts. Peace in Ukraine may well be easier. But why would the disabilities minister, rather than, say, the defence minister or the foreign minister, be putting forward Australia's position on the war in Ukraine?
It's getting really ugly for the NDIS people. They're starting to get exposed.
We begin in Canberra, where bombshell evidence has been heard at the budget estimates hearing over the misuse of NDIS funds, with revelations taxpayer money is being used on drugs.
Let's go live to 9 Federal Politics reporter Claudia Vidoljak at Parliament House. Claudia, good morning. Pressure is now mounting on the federal government.
It certainly is, Carl and Sarah. Good morning to you both. We've heard at least $2 billion in funds are being falsely claimed by participants, usually egged on by dodgy
$2 billion.
providers using their plans to spend on expensive holidays and gifts. In one case, a $7,000 car. Another person spent $240,000 on personal expenses, including their mortgage.
A $73,000 brand new car. $240,000 on personal expenses, including their mortgage.
Revelations made by the scheme's integrity chief, who told Parliament, you name it, it's on the list, including illicit drugs like heroin, cocaine and...
Oh, look! They're using the NDIS money for heroin, cocaine and ice and marijuana.
Ice.
Providers that are going out of the way to put people in harm's way, they've commoditised those participants and their plans.
More than 200 active fraud investigations are right now underway, and last week an occupational therapist in Western Sydney was sentenced to 6 years behind bars for frauding the system by more than $500,000. The federal government is adamant it is cracking down as Parliament debates new laws to tighten up the $44 billion scheme. Carl and Sarah.
It's a bit of a mess, isn't it? Thanks, Claudia.
Bit of a mess? Goodness gracious. It's a shambles. A complete shambles. I'll let yous work that one out.